Train Lover 16. The train, for its size, is the fastest vehicle on land, and the locomotives of Redcliff Loco Yard are the power behind the stations, industries and train lines that make up the well-renowned Redcliff and Guineabridge Railway. This is Redcliff Railway Tales. Construction on the first phase of the Redcliff and Guineabridge Railway's Heychester extension was finally complete, and the grand opening was about to be held. The Mayor of Darthurst wanted to make it as special as possible, and had decided to book a travelling funfair to be set up on the grounds above the station. The day before the grand opening, Mr. Eric informed his engines that the railway was to transport the funfair up to Darthurst.
That sounds very exciting. The families are sure to love it.
Indeed, Ethan. Now I understand that the vast majority of you want to pull the funfair train, but I can only pick one of you, and I shall do so at random. Now, let's see. Congratulations, Dennis. You'll get to pull the funfair train tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Dennis was worried. He knew what had happened to Max on the Darthurst incline, and had a bad feeling that the same would happen to him when he was pulling the funfair train. You're welcome. Anyways, with that out of the way, I have something brand new to show you all. Carl came into the loco yard riding a small cart. It was quite loud for its size, and gave off a very strong petrol smell.
Ugh, what is that horrible stench?
This, Otmar, is my new inspection cart. I built it myself with the engine of a motorbike. As the railway expands, I felt it was time I had an efficient way of travelling around the railway. This inspection cart will also enable me to inspect the tracks and stations myself.
Sounds like a sensible idea, sir.
Thank you, Linda. I hope this inspection cart will prove successful on its first test run too. I'll see you all later.
See you around, sir. Good luck.
Mr. Eric climbed into his seat and slowly opened the throttle. As he did so, the cart roared up the tracks and disappeared round the bends just ahead of the yard. Vitesse, who'd still been sleeping, was startled awake by the noise and smell. Zot alors! What on earth is making that ridiculous noise? Blech! And that disgusting smell!
Vitesse, were you not paying any attention at all to Mr. Eric? It's his new inspection cart. You weren't sleeping while he was speaking, were you? You could have missed some very important information.
I'm sorry, Dennis, but Mr. Eric told me it was alright for me to wake up a little later than usual today. I was taking some football fans home from a late-night match yesterday.
Oh, I see. My apologies, Vitesse. Say, what were you dreaming about?
My past, Dennis. Back in France. My youth during the 1980s in particular, when my class, the TGV Sud-Ests, were the newest trains in SNCF's fleet. Ah, those were good times. We ran at 260 and later 300 kilometers an hour on a daily basis. We first ran between Paris and Lyon, but eventually we were running to all sorts of destinations in the south and east of France, even to Switzerland and Italy. Running at those speeds every day, and joking and bantering with my brothers and sisters every night, made my life absolute paradise. Then, one by one, we were refurbished and repainted into silver and blue, though with the exception of me, I'm the only one who's kept the orange, black and white my entire life. But eventually, we were slowly but surely replaced by the duplexes, visos and Porsches. Mr. Eric, knowing my class's days were numbered, purchased me for preservation in 2016, and I arrived here to start my non-stop service a month later. I've only ever topped 225 kilometers an hour since, and all my siblings have now been withdrawn, with most of them scrapped. The glory days of my class are well and truly over now. It would be nice to run at 300 kilometers an hour again, just once.
I know how you feel, Vitess. I wish I could make you feel better, but I don't really know how.
Don't worry, Dennis. It's the thought that counts. As Dennis went about his work that day, he couldn't stop thinking about Vitess's backstory. Surely there was something that could be done to help Vitesse relive the glory days once more. That afternoon, he met up with Mr. Eric on his cars at Guineabridge Junction.
Afternoon, sir. How's the inspection cart handling?
Hello, Dennis. It's been running somewhat smoothly, thank you. I have had a couple of problems, though. The engine overheated a few times, and the ride's pretty rough. Maybe I should add a seatbelt to it.
Well, I'm sure you'll find a quick fix to those problems, sir. I mean, at least the cart seems to be working alright, and I'm sure it won't feel anywhere near as unsafe once you add a seatbelt.
Dennis then told Mr. Eric about his concerns about pulling the funfair train the next day. Dennis, what happened to Max happened because he tried to take a train that was too heavy for him to take up the incline. The funfair train is nowhere near as heavy as that train was, and even if you do struggle up the incline, Max will be more than willing to help bank you.
I guess you're right, Mr. Eric, but I still have a bad feeling that something will go wrong.
Next, Dennis told him about Vitesse. I understand how he feels, and I wish I could let him run at the speeds he's designed to, but on this railway, it's simply too dangerous. However, I'll think about it, and I'll see what I can do for him.
Thank you, sir. I'd best be off. Good luck with the rest of your test, Wyatt.
Thank you, see you later, and good luck with the funfair train. The next day, Dennis arrived at the rolling stock yard at sunrise to collect the train. The wagons were already misbehaving though, singing insulting songs. Dennis is a scaredy cat and can't pull us 'cause he's too fat. You'll never get us up the incline, you rat!
Shut up. I'm in no mood for your tricks today.
Careful, Dennis. I know you have to keep the wagons in check, but these fairground rides are very delicate. If even the slightest damage occurs to them, they won't be allowed to operate and may not be repaired in time for the start of the funfair.
Sorry, I'll try and be gentle, but it's going to be easier said than done if these wagons keep up their bad behaviour.
As soon as the conductor had made the final preparations, they were ready to depart. The conductor gave Dennis the right of way, and with a blast from his horn, he set off.
Come along, come along.
We won't! We won't! But Dennis didn't care, and with a thunderous roar from his engine, he forced the screeching wagons onto the main line. The wagons tried hard to make him give up, but he still kept on.
A funfair for the grand opening of a railway extension. How undignified.
Dennis ignored Sheila. He was focused on pulling the train. Sometimes the wagon's brakes would slip on, and sometimes their axles would run hot. and each time the trouble had to be put right, and each time Dennis would start again, determined not to let them beat him. Give up, you can't pull us, you can't!
I can and I will, I can and I will.
And before they knew it, they emerged from Blue High Tunnel. At last, the Darthurst incline came into view. Look out for trouble, Dennis. Don't let them stop you. Dennis charged to the hill, and soon they were halfway up.
I'm doing it. Will the top ever come?
Then, with a sudden jerk, it all came easy.
I've done it. Hooray, it's easy now.
But the conductor waved his red baton and called up to Dennis. They've done it again. We've left our tail behind. Look! The last 4 wagons were running backwards down the hill. The tampered coupling had snapped.
So that's why it was easy. God damn it, I knew something was going to go wrong.
Dennis soon brought the rest of the train back to the bottom. He was fuming at the wagons.
You reckless dicks, you could have caused an accident.
But the wagons didn't care. They were feeling very pleased with themselves and laughed at Dennis's scolding. The conductor went to inspect the damage to the couplings. That jerk must have been nastier than it felt, Dennis. The front coupling of the 10th wagon has completely broken off. We'll have to stay here for a while I try to fix it.
Oh, bother.
Meanwhile, back at Redcliff, Mr. Eric stopped his cart in the passing loop and went into the station for his daily coffee and cake. A few minutes later, Mr. Eric came out of the station and climbed back onto his cart. Oh crap, how the hell did that happen? Mr. Eric frantically tried to fix the lever back into place, but to no avail. Then he tried to shut the throttle off himself, but he couldn't. The cart was now a runaway. Mayday, mayday! Come in, Carl!
I read you loud and clear, sir. What's the problem?
My inspection cart is out of control. The throttle's broken off and I can't stop it.
Oh my god! Hang in there, sir. We'll figure out a plan to get you off. Over and out. Oh, what to do? With that cart being as fast as it is, rescuing Mr. Eric's going to be extremely difficult. He'll be killed if I don't think of something very Of course!
What is going on, Carl?
Vitesse, I'm cancelling your next train. I need your help. Mr. Eric's in serious trouble. The throttle in his inspection cart has broken, and now he can't stop. I need your help in rescuing him.
Why me?
With that cart being as small and light as it is, and having a motorbike engine, it's very fast. You're more than capable of catching up to it. So you're my best chance.
So, does that mean...
Yes, Vitesse. I'm going to need you to go as fast as possible. It'll be dangerous, but Mr. Eric's life is on the line. So I think it's a risk worth taking.
I could not agree more, Kyle. I've been itching to run at higher speeds again, but first I must get my passengers off. Attention please, everyone. I'm afraid that due to an unforeseen circumstance, this service is cancelled. Please disembark. You'll all receive compensation for the inconvenience. Thank you for your understanding. As soon as all the passengers were off, Carl climbed into Vitesse's cab and radioed the Redcliff Control Centre.
Redcliff Control, this is an emergency. The Raiden City line must be cleared for Vitesse.
Right, we'll halt all traffic.
We're good to go, Vitesse.
Vitesse accelerated out of the station as fast as his traction motors would allow. Meanwhile, Mr. Eric was still speeding uncontrollably up the line. He was very terrified, but at the same time, the adrenaline junkie within him was extremely thrilled. He flew by Sheila, shot past Linda, and raced by Otmar. Hi Otmar, bye Otmar!
Mr. Eric?
What the hell are you in such a rush for?
Mr. Eric was very closely followed by Vitesse.
Whoa! You knock yourself to bits going that fast, Vitesse!
TGV coming through!
What the fuck?
Vitesse was also worried that he'd crash, especially on the sharp curves. But he was even more excited than Mr. Eric. He'd never gone so fast in his life. As they entered Blue Hive Tunnel, Mr. Eric came into view. There he is! Mr. Eric, we're here to rescue you! Vitesse, thank God! Wait, Jesus Christ, Carl! Be careful!
I know, sir, but it's the best chance we have of getting you off safely. Ah!
Carl held onto Vitesse for dear life with one hand and reached out to Mr. Eric with the other.
You're going to have to climb along the back of your cart and jump, sir. I'll catch you.
Right, here goes. Whoa! Yeah! As Carl struggled to pull Mr. Eric up, the inspection cart sped out of Blue Hive Tunnel. Dennis was still waiting for the coupling to be fixed and had no idea of what was coming.
Ouch!
Vitesse screeched to a halt behind the funfair train, and a relieved Mr. Eric and Carl slid off his front and onto the tracks. So sorry about that, Dennis. I've just had quite the thrill ride, and I haven't even been on one of the funfair rides yet.
It's alright, sir. I'm sorry your cart has been destroyed. You put so much effort into building it all on your own, and now it looks well beyond repair.
Well, Dennis, it was quite shoddy anyway. It would have needed a lot of time and money put into it to make it safer, smoother and more durable. Perhaps building it wasn't such a good idea after all.
Maybe, but what's important is that you're alive and well, sir. Though it should go without saying, really.
Indeed. And Vitesse and Carl, thank you so much for saving me.
You're
You're
very
most
welcome, sir.
But what I'm more grateful for is that I got my wish in doing so as well.
Really? That's brilliant, Vitesse. Good for you.
Dennis, I fixed the coupling. We're good to go. You want some help up the hill, Dennis?
No, thank you, Vitesse. I think I can do it this time.
Good luck. Don't let them beat you. And with a long blast from his horn, Dennis charged at the hill again and struggled upwards. You're doing really well, Dennis. Keep it up. After what seemed like hours, Dennis finally crested the top.
I've done it! I've done it!
Shortly afterwards, they reached Darthurst. Dennis was uncoupled, and he ran onto one of the sidings for refueling and a long rest. As he was being refueled and the funfair unloaded and set up, Max pulled up next to him with a train of food for the funfair. Hello, Dennis. Sorry I couldn't help you on the incline earlier. I was needed elsewhere to help with the grand opening preparations.
That's okay, Max. I managed on my own just fine in the end.
So I heard. Congratulations. Mr. Eric's here to congratulate you too. I am indeed. I watched your whole climb from the foot of the hill, and your effort was outstanding. I'm beyond proud of you, Dennis.
Thank you so much, sir. Not just for your praise, but believing in me as well.
You're most welcome. Right, Vitesse has gone back to collect the VIPs. As soon as he arrives, we can start the grand opening. Later on, Vitesse pulled into the station, and the VIPs disembarked and greeted Mr. Eric and his staff. The Mayor of Darthurst was there to cut the ribbon.
And I hereby declare the first phase of the Redcliff and Guineabridge Railway's Heychester extension open.
A chorus of cheers, whistles and honks from the crowd and engines respectively followed, and with that, the funfair began. Though Mr. Eric had already had a long thrill ride that day, he wasn't deterred from going on most of the rides. He also ate a king-sized amount of junk food and mingled with a lot of the VIPs, including his boyhood hero, transport enthusiast Leonard Haroldford, the dad of Martin, one of the railway's firemen. But it wasn't just him who had a good evening. A few hours after the funfair started, he came to see Vitesse. Vitesse, I have a surprise for you. What is it, sir? While you and Carl were chasing me down, he told me that he had a look at your speedometer, took a picture of it, and sent it to the Guinness World Records. Wait, are you saying... Vitesse, this woman from the Guinness World Records has something to tell you.
Hello, Vitesse. During your escapade today, you hit a top speed of 360 kilometers an hour.
My God, that's 225 miles an hour, and the British Royal Speed record is 208.
So that means...
Vitesse, today you became the record holder for the fastest train in Britain. Congratulations.
Ah, merci beaucoup. Lubricant welled up in Vitesse's eyes and cheeks. This had been the best day of his entire life. For him, even if only for that day, it seemed that the glory days of the TGV Sud-Est had returned. Oh, Mr. Eric, you're invaluable. You run so many trains to catch, and soon there will be more. Your railway's unlike any other, so I'll be selling my car. Oh, Mr. Eric, what a fine man you are. Oh, Mr. Eric, you're invaluable. You run so many trains to catch, and soon there will be more. Your railway's unlike any other, so I'll be selling my car. Oh, Mr. Eric, what a fine man you are.